Welcome back to the One Line Away podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Tyler Weber.
And this is Cassie Weber. And in today's episode, we are going to be going over our own personal betrayal list. This trend has been going around TikTok, and with this month being the month that it is, I feel like we've kind of felt this awakening and just speaking more this month, and we've just had a lot of thoughts. And so that betrayal list was something that I wanted to bring into our next episode, which is what we're recording now, and really just kind of jibber jabbering about our list. And I'm sure there's definitely some on that list that feel relatable. And so if you just needed like a little vent sesh or just a little way or a way of feeling like there's somewhere to go this month, we hope that this episode is that place. So I think we're going to just kind of roll into the episode. They say infertility is a waiting game, but no one tells you about the betrayals along the way. The small ones, the big ones, the ones that leave scars that no one can see. This list that we made is not a list out of sympathy. It's the list I wish someone would have handed me before we started going through the trenches of our journey. And not that it would have made it a different approach. It could have been, or it could have saved us from certain heartbreak, or it could have prepped us in a way that allowed us to recover quicker than some of the things that felt like we just spent forever in before we were able to at least breathe a little easier.
Yeah, for me, it would have showed me what we could have been through.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know what we were going into. I didn't know a majority of the stuff that we've talked about or we've had episodes about. I didn't know were like a possibility before they actually were happening.
Yeah.
Just as someone who didn't know much about this in general, if someone handed me a list and said like, these are the things that could happen to you, I'd be like, oh.
Yeah. I don't know if it would have made us do things different, but I do look back at certain large decisions that we made, and I wonder if waiting or recovering more in between them would have done something different. But I also, we can flip that coin and feel so much worse in just the time that is spent in between, and how that period of nothingness, if you want to call it that, can be even more scary and damaging for someone going through a journey like this. So I think what I want to roll into is the unseen betrayals. Specifically on our list, we're going to start with unexplained infertility. We've been now over 4 years in our journey, and we are still at the point in our journey where we have only been diagnosed with unexplained infertility. And I just want to like go over this. I don't think I really recognized the anger that this diagnosis makes me feel until we really matured into our journey. Now it feels like I am much more strong in my opinion that it is such a cop-out of an explanation for what someone's going through. I just don't believe that it's enough. And in my opinion, they've given out this diagnosis like it's nothing. I feel like maybe the intention of it in the beginning, as research probably happened with the people that they couldn't find answers to at that point, was probably intended for what it was. And then now it feels like it's this continuation of, well, we don't know, so just keep spending more money or keep waiting or keep trying, and that should be good enough. And I just couldn't disagree more with that, because the way that that's made me feel and the way that that's affected every single step of our way, it's what's my emotion? It's debilitating to feel like you are just completely mindless in going into what you're going into, and I just hate it so much. I don't know. It's like there's been so many years of effort and risks and consequences that it makes me wonder if it's like that waiting for the right doctor or waiting for the right clinic or waiting for the right fix. And to just still be sitting here and feel so lost in our journey, it's just, it's just, I don't know, it hurts. It's so hurtful. And it just pains me because we can't attack things in the same way that we used to. And that's why we've sat in this literal position of our journey this long and until further notice, truly. It feels like you're handed this mystery and you're just supposed to live inside it. And I didn't subject myself to playing a game of Clue.
Yeah, we're on like season 4.
Or like the editions, like all of the other umbrella editions that you can buy. And it just sucks. Like, I just can't believe that we're still in the same realm of like when it all began.
Well, with more knowledge.
I mean, more
we were just so innocent back then.
Yeah.
When it all began, we were just so innocent. We were all excited, and I'm not saying we're not, but
But I think that's very honest. I think that's very true.
I think when it all began, it was the innocent stage of we're excited to do this.
Okay, this one's very personal, but in our betrayal list on our TikTok, I put we don't need to do an ultrasound on the list. And that goes all the way back from where this all began. And long story short, when I reached 6 weeks, I started bleeding and I went into my current OB at the time, and that person did a cervical check and determined that my cervix was open and determined at that point that I was already miscarrying. So they had felt that an ultrasound wasn't necessary. Might I continue to be reminded that we also took blood work at that clinic at that office, and they proceeded to lose that blood work, which if you educate yourself on proper protocol, all of those steps were all misstepped. And unfortunately, it led to me having an emergency ectopic surgery. And it was, even if, no matter what, that ending was happening, but it's what I could have lost my life because of how bad of shape I was at the point that I started to rupture. And it maybe could have saved me from losing one of my tubes, which also decreases your probability of pregnancy, because now I'm working on, you never know which side you're ovulating on, and you're only able to on the same side that your tube remains. So it's something that, like, that's not funny. It's very serious, and it's just a continuation of feeling so betrayed by the medical system at that point, where it should have been an easy thing to cross off all of these check marks to make sure that I wasn't the worst case scenario that I became. And I will never recover from that, because it's something that I think my body has been traumatized by. And if that gives me any type of answer of what we've been through and why we've been through so many losses, it always goes back to that and what my body endured and maybe will never recover from. And so my relationship with medical staff and trusting the medical system is so tainted. And I've tried to continue to give that back to the people that I feel like deserve it. But our track record is so horrible. Like, it's so miserable. It's so horrible. And so, yeah, the ultimate betrayal was from that point forward. And our journey we were never the same from that.
Yeah. That was, like, at the time, physical betrayal.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that would have given us the closure, though. Because then do you think they would have caught it that early?
Yeah, that's normally what they'll do, is they'll catch it, and then you can do a DNC or take medication that will push it out.
Push it out. Okay, so yeah, that might have given, because we didn't know for sure. They were like, we think it's this. It's looking like this. It's looking like you're miscarrying, and I feel like if that would have been done, that would have just let us close that.
Yeah, and I think, like, learning now, I didn't know this at the time, but why it matters now is the ultrasound would have confirmed that they couldn't find in the proper place, like in my uterus, wouldn't have been able to find the baby in there, and then would have had to seek the tubes, and they would have known something was alarming and not right. And then the blood work would have shown that I was pregnant, but it would have shown my levels being off at that certain week. So that's what you do, is you like, instead, with the reason why blood work is so important is it, like we've been through this now with miscarriage, like you have to go in, and it's the worst type of blood work to go get when you know you're miscarrying, but you have to get down to 0 to 1, prove and also confirm that your miscarriage has successfully passed. So there's just so much that we didn't know, and we really shouldn't have had to know. And I don't know if that sounds bad, but it's like just the system continuing to fail in that just small period of our life, because we went from 6 weeks all the way to 9 weeks before I actually had surgery. And those weeks were brutal. I mean, I just will never forget feeling like in my gut something was wrong and no one was listening.
Yeah, I mean, they're not wrong. Like, it was... it's a tough one, because it's such a hard time for like a young family to go through that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, us just not really knowing what we should have done versus the doctor just forcing us, like, to do all that, right? Like, you need to come back to get your blood work. You need to get an ultrasound done.
Yeah.
Not siding with us, like, we don't want to see that. We're obviously already heartbroken.
If there's anything on this list that has paralyzed me the most, and all of these have, but this one just right now in our journey just feels so heavy, is you're most fertile after a miscarriage. And I remember vividly after our ectopic being told that once you were cleared, that you should keep trying, and that you were the most fertile. So most people get pregnant right after a miscarriage. And we know by fact, I mean, people around us in our social circle, this has happened successfully for many, and that's wonderful. But for us, it's so haunting, because it's this why them, not me feeling. And it's also this like emotional mind F. I don't have a different or better way to put that, but it is a total mind crap, because it...
Mind grenade.
Yeah, that's good.
Thanks.
But yeah, that to this day, it just haunts me, because we have been through so many losses, and to be told you're fertile and to keep trying, and you know, like it's this easy thing when it's not been this easy thing for us. It's just so hurtful, and it's just, it makes me mad. It makes me really mad, and it triggers the living crap out of me, because the people that get to cross those things off so easily, it's again, this is just where our journey and where my mind is, but it's like, it just pains me to even find joy in the hope for us, because it's just gone so long. It's just gone so long. As far as the tangible betrayals go, this is also pretty personal to our list, but the first one is definitely this quarterly embryo storage fees that hit our account.
Yeah.
Though it just might be, you know, some days or some cycles or some quarters, it's like, you know, just another bill. I just have never been able to put it in that category as just another bill, because we know what is behind that payment of storage fees every single quarter. And it just feels kind of absurd, because though I understand that you have to pay for this, it's this, almost it feels like this fine. Every time that payment comes through or goes through our account, it feels like I'm being fined for not knowing what to do with our journey next.
Or it's just a reminder.
And it's, it's definitely a reminder of those, you know, at this point we have 6 embryos on ice that are being stored, and it's just this constant like overwhelming feeling of like you having a responsibility to do something with those embryos, and us being held back because we financially have not recovered from our journey up until this point.
Yeah, for me it's just a reminder of every single time I see the email, because I get the email, I think you do too, do you?
Yeah.
So I just get an email. Like you see on social media, you get reminded, and then like through other things, and then it's like, oh, an email. Like this is something. Oh,
it makes it so real.
Yeah,
because
like, oh.
we're them.
All right.
Yeah, I think too. Like I'll never get over like the 9 embryos that we did create. That we've lost 3. It just goes back to that emotion of picking and choosing which embryo to hope and see what works, and to just not know if, when, whatever you want to say, one of those will be the right ones. It just sucks. Like, it just sucks because it's like you just aren't told. Like, you just don't believe that you're going to be the one that those embryos don't stick. And I just, yeah, that's a big one too. I mean, they're all big ones. That's why the list was, I mean, I did 10 and I had like 25 that I had put in a list, and I had to put them down to fit the screen. But it just shows that like, there's just so much betrayal. Like this episode just feels so it feels good to get it off my chest, because there are things that I feel like people have forgotten, that like we're still here. We're still dealing with the same question marks and the same unknowns of what to do next. All right. This is one that we have not done a money episode, and we've talked about it many times, and just it's never felt right because it's felt kind of disingenuous, or like it kind of just packs a punch harder to the gut, and we just haven't been ready to talk about it. But I think what I can comfortably, I mean, I don't know if comfort's the right word, but comfortably get across is the part of the list that I did put there that could be a little astonishing, but it's the 50K plus that we'll never get back. And that's something that's haunted us and haunted me a lot. And it's something that like Tyler and I will have to have like hard conversations of like we're never going to get that back, or we're never going to be able to like rewind and restart and get a different outcome. Like it's like a very kind of brash conversation that happens around this topic for us still, because it has this weird like attachment thing and control thing that felt so out of control. And in our journey, we were able to do we could afford what we could afford up until this point in our journey. And there's just nothing more painful than having to bite what you've lost. And unfortunately, with money and babies, when you get into treatments, it just gets muddy. Like you can't, like I've always wanted to be strong enough to be able to just be like, well, this was like, money doesn't matter. Money shouldn't matter. Like you've still lost a baby. You've lost a chance. You've lost however you want to word it. But it goes hand in hand, because it's the biggest thing that's stalled us from even going to the next step. And that's why it hurts so much. It's not just the 50 plus K. I mean, at this point, it's so much more than that, because there's so much more that was after the fact of what we could even tally on receipts. It exceeds so much more than what we can even track at this point. And so it's painful, and it's a crutch in our journey that I wish didn't have such a crutch, but it's a very real and raw emotion that we've still just had to try to recover from slowly. And when I mean slowly, it's just slow. I mean, you just can't recover that type of money quick.
No.
It hasn't been our journey. And it's something that I don't regret. I just
think about
often. All the time.
Actually, I try not to think about it anymore. But
yeah, because it does hurt when it gets brought. I think that's something in our journey that we both really struggle with, even like admitting to what we've felt about the topic, you know? And that's why we haven't done it yet, because it gets so sticky, because it's like we don't want to put a number on our loss or put a number on our journey. But the reality is when it does stall you from continuing to just check card whatever acceptance to these clinics or these medical bills, it just is right in your face. It just throws up in your face. So yeah, All right. This one, being on the wrong side of statistics. This part could come across very pity party. And I guess it's just because it is. But it just, it's like, I feel like still in our journey, everyone or people will say, like, hold on to hope, keep holding on, keep pushing, keep going. But no one tells you or even wraps their head around, or sometimes can even try to wrap their head around how heavy hope gets, how draining it gets, how much harder it is to recover from that cycle or recover from your reality every single month, every single day, every single week. So, I mean, to expand or fan out a little bit more about this line item or list item is, I feel like we've just been that case that people have cringed at in the medical force. Like, it's been like, ooh, I don't know. Ooh, that doesn't look good. Or I don't know, you're just a really hard patient to understand. Mm-hmm. Or it's been like, this has worked for a lot of people. Or I've never been stumped this much with this situation with you or with any client or patient. And like, I've gotten rare infections from procedures that don't allegedly happen. And I don't know. It's just, we've always been on the wrong side of the statistics, and we never really cared about the statistics when we were told and talked to, and like we'd have sit down meetings with the clinic or the like our medical providers, and it felt like you were educated pretty much about, like, you were educated well for the most part about those things, but it didn't really hit and hurt until we were that side. And I think what helps me kind of deal with that reality is, like, that's not something that a clinic or like statistic wise, that's not good to fall on that side, because in theory, like, in all ways they want it to work for you because it makes that party look good, right? It doesn't look good on someone to have failed cycles or to have weird infections or things that are just up in the clouds with no answer. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that one definitely can get a little pity sometimes, and sometimes it's due. And then there's other times where it's like, okay, like if I stay here too long, it's going to get bad, you know?
Yeah.
The emotional betrayals, the emotions, being emotional in an infertility journey is
impossible to not be
emotional. And I remember there'd be comments or conversations with people that have supported us through this journey where they'd be like, are you making this out of emotions? Are you making this decision out of emotions? Or, hey, are your emotions really taking you down this avenue that maybe isn't safe for your heart?
And you're like, yes.
Yeah. And sometimes you just take it and do it because it's just self-sabotage, because sometimes it's just all that you really want to feel is bad.
You're there because you're emotional, because you can't have a baby. So you're like, I need to go to a doctor to help me have a baby and spend money.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, the name.
Yeah, it is an emotional decision because it's what this, like, Western medicine has given us as steps. Mm-hmm. Not just Western medicine, but for us, like, that's how it goes. It's how it rolls. You have the whole rule of, like, try for a year, which is so bogus. That's a tangent to get into another day, but try for a year and then come, and then we'll do these couple steps. Like, they have this, like, protocol, and the protocol, I don't know who created the protocol because it doesn't make sense, but experiencing every type of loss is something that I didn't know would be on my bingo card. Obviously, we've been open with what types of losses we've had. And it sucks to feel like we're just like, we've crossed things off on a bingo card. I never wanted to be a part of that bingo card. And so, I mean,
do we yell bingo?
Yeah, if we yell bingo, I better have every single child I lost back right now. That's what the bingo card should be. Don't you think? Like, haha, fun and games. Oh, wait, we're going to drop them off your doorstep like Dumbo and bring the little
like
babies.
The Grinch.
Yes, but they're all mine, all ours.
Oh, my.
I want them all back. Yeah. But what I was going to say is,
we'd have a hockey squad.
Yeah, literally. That's what we wanted. But I mean, each loss has been so unique. Some have felt way more like harder to get through or harder to get past. And others have felt so quick that you didn't even have time to like really understand that you were pregnant and now you were not. And then there's others that, I mean, are ectopic, that you'll just never not go back to that. That was just the longest bit of grief that we've ever had to recover from, emotionally, physically, mentally, all of those. And forever. I mean, it'll follow us forever. But they all carry their own in different seasons of your journey and different time periods and, you know, different stages of your journey. And I just hate that knowing that there is even more that you could experience is absolutely mind crushing. And it's something that I'm not trying to like go to, but there's been people in our life, people in our social circles who have experienced losses that I have not in those type of ways. And it's just an ugly side of what growing your family should ever be like for anyone that's gone through any type of loss. This one might be more on my end, but I put blood because blood has continued to be a very triggering thing for me, specifically with loss, and then with cycle by cycle, getting your period when you just didn't want to get your period, or starting to bleed when that was your cue that you were losing the pregnancy. I mean, there's so many different forms of blood. It's all the blood work that I would do, the needles, there's just so much to do with just blood, with infertility and just treatment. And just, every single day. Clearly, like every cycle is a new beginning, but also a reminder of your failure that month. And so I have been betrayed so many times with blood and been so confused with what my body was trying to tell me or what my body wasn't doing properly. It just sucks. Like it just, as a woman who has a consistent period, no matter if they're losing or not, it just makes me kind of boil inside.
Makes your blood boil.
Literally.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Cut it out, dude.
And then, okay, the last one. This one is like ending on a bang, because this one might actually be the one that hurts the most right now.
Yeah, this one's a reality.
Yeah. It's on my list. I said new clinic, and then in quotations I put, we need to start over.
Yep.
That it's so hard to talk about because I have learned that I still make mistakes in this journey with who I talk to about those things or who I drop my veil with. And I think what just hurts the most is like, I feel so fragile in our now because it's like, I don't know if I can relive every single thing that we went through when we started. And to be told that we need to redo all of these procedures, all of these tests because it's gone on too long. Like we've been in this too long and now we have to restart because they have to reconfirm or re-diagnose or research everything. It's debilitating. Mm-hmm. And
or when you are like going through it and they're like, did you guys try this? And you're like, yep.
Yeah.
Did you guys try this? Yep.
Yeah.
What about this? Yep. It's like every single thing you're just, yep, done that. Oh, been there. Did that one.
Yeah.
Like just retelling the story. We've done it over many episodes of a podcast.
Just life.
And having to retell it to like one nurse or one doctor or whatever it is, it's like very, very draining. Mm-hmm. And you get done with it and they're like, that's weird. Or they'll just make some like little comment.
Or I remember when the doctor was like, the new one was like, I just don't like any of this. Like, I don't really like, I just don't like this. Like, none of this makes me feel good. And I'm like, no, Sherlock.
You're like, join the club, big dog.
Literally. And this doctor, if we do get to have the opportunity to go through that path or go down that path again, in theory, it's like, it's good to have someone that is like, no, I want this to work, so I'm going to make you cross up all of the boxes that I believe could maybe find where we went wrong.
But it's also exhausting.
But it's debilitating. I don't have a different word. And I've been so, like, I feel like I'm going to have to surrender myself again. And we've talked about this a lot, about like being able to handle another loss differently, or handle another hard decision or whatever differently, but it doesn't like actually erase that reality. It's like you still have to be strong enough to face it. And we haven't been strong enough to face what's to come yet, because it's really scary. And to think that we could go through all of that again to still end up nowhere is just an impossible place to be in. And I don't think people really have heard us, or we've not really talked about, but really heard where we sit right now, and what that actually means, and why that's so fragile. Like, it's such a fragile place to be in again. So yeah, this one hurts very closely right now, and is very hard to wrap my head around, and our heads around, because just hearing that initially was, it's almost, I mean, it's very, I guess what I'm trying to say is like, the fact that that is our next steps, are steps that we've already walked. And yeah, they'll probably look a little different, but still, it's like, it almost feels like they're spitting on everything that we've been through up until this point, and erasing it, and almost just kind of like tossing it away, like it was like a failure. And though it's true, a lot of it has been failure, emotionally, I can't keep going on that, like thinking, like if you keep reminding or being reminded that everything that you've done up until this point has been a failure, it's a scary, it's something very scary to have to sit with and live with. And so we can't really look at it, we can't look at it that way, because if we continue to look at it that way, we're not going to ever do anything. And we then put our dreams away and throw that away. And that's not why we started. Like, we're not fighting this hard for nothing. We haven't fought this hard for nothing, you know? Like, we are worth seeing through this journey, no matter how that looks or what that looks like. And I do feel like that ticking clock is definitely closer and closer to my head every single morning of like, okay, what are you going to decide? What's next? And it's hard. So that is our ultimate betrayal list. And I mean, honestly, you could have taken this as just kind of a rant sesh, but I also think that it's a way of reflecting on being aware of all of the things that you've been through, especially with a month this deep and this hard and this hollow. I think that with this list that started circulating around the
around
trend,
like this time of the year, it doesn't make it easy. This
time of the year we've dealt with loss and
just the holidays in general.
That's a good way to put that. But like the holiday season that's coming, it's just,
it always sucks.
And I think it's hard because I do think some people do see us. Like, I think that there's some in our family that see our pain, but they don't know how to, I don't know. It's like, we're the infertility couple. So we're deemed that and doomed that. And so people kind of side eye us differently now. And that is seeing us. And I appreciate that, but it also is hard to be that couple.
You just don't want to be seen that way.
No.
I think that's the hardest thing, is you don't want to be seen that way. I'm not saying like we're like awkward about it or anything, but
if you've lived through any of these betrayals of anything that we talked about in any type of way, you're not alone. I mean, seriously, this video or this episode felt really good to just get off my chest. And so I hope that, not being selfish, I hope that my selfishness also does feed into the person that's listening or tuning into this episode, because it's just such a reminder of how lonely and lost you can get in this journey. And so we need each other, and we need you guys just as much as we hope that you guys need us, just to bring some light or bring some just comfort in the reality, even if it's hard, you know? Yeah. I think it's important too to remember that you don't need to be grateful for the betrayals that you feel like you've gone through in this journey. Surviving them is enough. That's what we've really done in a lot of ways, is just simply survived through them. And that has to be enough, because that's just the only way that you can seem to get through a journey like this. I guess if there's a toast to end with this episode, it's this. I can do this. He's going to hold up the mic so I can say it. Here's to everyone standing after their betrayals. You're the strongest kind of tender.
We just want to extend our arms to everyone that's going through this. Like, we're with you guys. We hope this episode brought you guys whatever you need right at this moment. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys in the next one.